Dean, it seems like forever ago since the Minnesota Wild were on the ice in an NHL game. It's crazy to think that we're more than 2 months, approaching a third month without NHL hockey. Hard to believe that it's been that long, because it feels like you had a club that was on a roll at that time. Had to be a difficult time to see it shut down.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody's disappointed, obviously, that, that all the sports, so many things have been shut down. But yeah, there's no question that we thought that we were playing as good hockey as we played all year. We felt that we were on a roll, obviously setting up for that Vegas game. We felt very good about ourselves and about the way that we were playing and our chances to obviously push and have the opportunity to get into the playoffs. And, clearly it was very disappointing that morning that we were sent home.
And for you personally, I know you'll put this on a second level compared to the team success, but you were given an opportunity, your first opportunity as a head coach in the National Hockey League. And not only an opportunity, but to some degree an audition to try and make your case to become the permanent head coach for this club next year. I know you and I talked just before the season shut down, and you said, hey, look, all I can do is go coach and I'll let everything else take care of itself. But now to have that opportunity cut short, how have you processed that yourself?
The same way. I mean, there's nothing, we just have to continue to try to do the things that are in our control, that it's in my control and us as a coaching staff to prepare. No different. Obviously, we're not in the office, we're not preparing on the ice, we're not coaching, but we're still doing things to prepare and hopefully get ready to resume here in different facets. And communication, with Billy, obviously, and with the coaching staff and with the players. You want to continue that and continue to do what we started to do. And that's what I've tried to do. That's what our staff has tried to do. And, hopefully, what we did was good. Obviously, if it's enough, then it's enough. And if it isn't, then it isn't. And obviously we want to have another opportunity to continue here. And we want to have another opportunity in the future to coach the Minnesota Wild.
What you and the staff had done was win 8 out of your last 11, 8 out of 12 overall since you were named the interim head coach. It put your team in a great spot to make a little push down the stretch into the playoffs. And I know right from the start, you talked about that the things you wanted to preach, the things you wanted to instill into this team were hard work, accountability, and effort. You'd seen the accountability, you'd seen the effort, but how about for your perspective? Because I know the way you like to work, I know the way you like to prepare. How difficult is it right now to feel like you can stay productive when you don't even know who the next opponent might be? It isn't like you can work ahead and say, hey, let's get some work done on the next road trip or the next couple of teams we have on the schedule.
Yeah, I've actually talked to a couple of guys in the NHL, coaches, and they've talked about, maybe we should be pre-scouting a team or whatever. And I mean, if you do that, it could be for naught, obviously. So we're just, as you know, we've talked a lot about this, is just trying to control what we can control and do what we can do. And from our end of it, try to prepare for our camp and what have you. And again, just communicate with the players. But yeah, we're trying to do everything that we possibly can. It's tough, obviously, now. You want to be, in the battle. You want to be, preparing. You want to get to the office. You want to put your videos together and all of that good stuff. But you're right. We did like where our team was going. We liked the direction that we had as a group, and not only the accountability part, the communication, but how we played as a team. That was a real key aspect, we believe, as we went through those games. We were really playing for each other. We were, doing the right things, physically, obviously, but emotionally and on and off the ice, we were doing the right things to be a tight-knit group when we stepped on the ice.
We had a chance to chat with the general manager, Bill Guerin, a couple of weeks back, and he just talked about the fact that, hey, look, as bizarre as this situation is, as bizarre as the timing is, everybody's in the same boat. So when it comes to preparing for a draft or preparing for a free agent season or whatever, from the general manager's perspective, he said, well, all we can do is try to figure it out. Everybody else has to do the same thing. How about from a coaching perspective? When you might all of a sudden have a training camp in the middle of the season and have guys who have been sitting on the side for 3, maybe 3.5 months, and now have to come back and play at a really high level in a make or break situation potentially. How do you try to keep that in perspective and do everything you can to prepare yourself to get your team prepared in a short term?
Well, I think the first is communicating with the guys as far as their training. And we've heard it from many sports of how difficult it is to train without having the facilities involved. But there's so many other ways to train. I mean, guys are being so creative, training in their homes, training outside their homes, doing stuff to stay in shape. That's the first step. But obviously, the lack of skating will be a key once we do get back. The players are going to need plenty of time to skate. I mean, if you think about going into a training camp at the start of the year, the guys have been skating for likely 2 months. I mean, not every single day, but they're on the ice, they're skating. So hockey's a different sport as far as being in game shape and skating shape as opposed to riding the bike or running or doing plyometrics or whatever you do. You need to skate to play hockey. And so we're going to have a pretty extended period, depending on, obviously we don't know what that would entail, but we're going to have to build up slowly with the rest and workload to get these guys prepared. But it's a lot like old school. When I first went to training camp, we skated obviously, but we weren't in tip-top shape. And you use training camp to get into shape. It wasn't like today's game. You play, you have training camp for 3 days basically, and then you're playing a game. We're going to look at a little more extensive training on the ice before we get into those game situations.
How about for you personally? I know training and fitness is a big part of your life. How are you staying sharp and staying fit during this time?
Well, I'm right into yoga now. So I set up a yoga studio in one bathroom, and I've got a stationary bike and I've got a road bike, and I see you on the golf course all the time. So I see you walking too. So I walk as well. But I mean, you try to be creative. You try to be as creative as you possibly can. I tried to stay as close to the routine as I had when we were playing, and that's, getting up, riding the bike, and then, doing a little bit of work and what have you. And obviously it's nice to get outside now, but you try to stay in your same routine. And I'm a big fitness junkie. I think it's important not only for your body, but for your mind. And so I like to sweat every day.
I'm with you on that, Dean. Thanks very much for joining us today. And hopefully we'll get a chance to see you around the rink sometime soon.
Yeah, better the rink than the golf course, but
No doubt.
I'll see you out there, Anthony. Thank you.